Good morning, family. What's down? What's down? Just come on here to have a conversation with you all. Obviously, I'm talking to you who's watching this later. Considering I just got started. But I come on here to holler at my dad's real quick for a brief couple things that I would like to touch on. A couple things I would like to touch on that that I don't know, maybe, hopefully, perhaps would be helpful. Good morning for all the of you who just tuned in. I would like to wait for a couple of ticks before I jump off. Holler at my dad's real quick. Hey, mothers, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. Because I have an idea of what I want to speak about, or maybe like some topics or whatever. And I don't know, maybe if you can help, or maybe if this conversation is engaging enough, maybe you can get some insight as like what we struggle with, or what we're know our hearts behind what we do and why we do it, although we may not do it perfectly or the right way all the time, or the most effective way, or the best way for our kids. Maybe you can understand where we're coming from. Perhaps maybe you can give us some grace, because now you have an understanding, or even maybe some advice. Yeah. So again, this conversation is mainly about us dads. Again, if mothers are here, you're more than welcome. But I would like to, as my dads out there, if any of you are present, what are some of your struggles with parenting for my dads out there? Because we the black sheep in all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's not only that we try to do right when it comes down to our kids, but it seems like we're trying to please the mother in the process, because for some reason the mother is the standard based on their perspective and what they think. And good morning everyone, and we're trying to do what's right by our kids, and if we slip, it's like we got to answer to the mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, there is some good accountability there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, that accountability, sometimes it's like we can never do anything right, or we feel like we're not doing anything right by our kids based on the harshness, or how you mothers come at us. So it seems like, and because we feel like we're not doing it right, hopefully we don't check out, but it could be the very thing that the kid need. But because how we may go about doing it, or because it's not exactly how you all or the mothers feels like we should be doing it, we think we're doing wrong, and we no longer do that thing, but that's actually helping them, that they actually need, if that makes sense. So for my fathers out there, what are some of your struggles with maybe raising your kids or getting through to your kids or connecting with them or correcting them, disciplining them. Now, hear me though. I'm no expert. I'm no expert in this area. However, though, I do have experience in this area, successes and failures. And some of my failures came from either learning the hard way because I didn't have an example when I was little, and still don't. But also with me dropping the ball 1,000 times with my son, and trying to get it right, sometimes getting it right, sometimes still getting it wrong. Although I get it right at times, in some areas I still get it wrong. So that's what I mean by experience. So based on what I've learned, based on my failures, based on what God has been trying to teach me and show me and have shown me, that I still don't always get it right the first time, perhaps I can share that with you, and that's all you need to run through a brick wall with it, to where it's like, okay, boom, I got it now. If that makes sense. All right. So again, this is for my struggling dads out there. It's not a clown show, so we're not putting on the show right now. You feel me? So for my struggling dads out there, like, what are some things that you're struggling with or have struggled with that now, because you learn, you're now better at it. If you don't mind sharing, if it's not too much, if you don't feel led to, please don't. But and the reason why I ask if you can share it is because I'm not the only one who don't always get it right. So perhaps you can help me in some areas, or any other dads are here. Perhaps you can help them in some areas, or even the mothers who may be here. Maybe you can help them, with understanding through clarity from not necessarily why you have gotten it wrong, but your struggles through that process, or even now through a process that you're going through and trying to get it right. But it's something that it's like you just can't seem to be consistent with it, or whatever it is. And through whether sharing your heart, sharing your experience, maybe that will help her to where she can be of some value or assistance with helping her baby's dad or her husband to be a better father, if all of that makes sense. If that makes sense. But in the meantime, if you are trying, I want to encourage you to continue to try, because a lot of us didn't have that example growing up, and if we did, they wasn't good examples. You feel me? So, but you're still trying. So that's why I want to encourage you to keep trying. You're not going to always get it right. One thing about learning is we're going to get it wrong. But to think about, I learned, that was through trial and error. Maybe sometimes you got it right the first time, but it comes with not giving up. It comes with continuing to try mistakes. It comes from continue to put the effort, take the initiative, right? So The thumbnail that I place here is the thumbnail that dads. I think it's let's try to love our kids more. But the whole idea is let's learn how to love our kids more every day. And that comes from 2 or 3 years ago when God had me to like reflect back to my childhood. What he told me was, you didn't have an example of what a dad looks like when you were growing up. That's why you're learning how to love your son every single day. And I thought to myself, and it broke my heart when he told me that. And the reason why is because I'm like, that's not fair. Not even necessarily to me. It's not fair to my son because my dad decided to bounce. For whatever reason, he left, legitimately or not. Don't get me wrong, like he came back when I was, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. But from 6 months old to 12, 13 years old, that's a big gap. Right? And I'm like, that's not fair to him that I'm forced to learn how to love him every single day because my dad decided to dip. And so that's why it broke my heart. Now it's a great honor that I have a son that I can learn and grow with every day through the good and the bad. You feel me? It's a great honor. You feel me? I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the good thing about how everything worked out is because where the toxic that came from my experience during his absence and as well as his return, it's not much worse than what it could have been. To be 100, it's not about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's my story, my experience, and it's not to bash him, but ultimately it's about my son. So whatever your scenario is, Dad, the thing is, it may be legitimate. It may be legitimate why you struggle in some areas, why the toxicity, why the whatever it is, it may be legitimate, but it's no excuse. It's no excuse. And I speak that from a heartfelt and sensitive place, and also understanding place. From your perspective and what your dealings have been, but also from your kid or kid perspective too. Because regardless of what happened, regardless of the why, regardless of the reason for it, they still need us in the game. They still need and deserve our best foot forward. Even when times we don't get it right or do it right, they still need and deserve that. Oftentimes when we allow, whether it's legitimate reasons or not, when we allow what we deem to be legitimate or reasons, when we allow those to be excuses, to why we don't try, why we don't put forth the effort, why we don't lean in, why we don't double down. Why we decide to quit. That's when it's the problem. Because we can't check out. How we just going to check out on our kids? For one, they didn't ask to be here. And even with us getting it wrong more time than we should, like, they don't deserve for us to check out or bounce. They don't. And we can blame it on the mothers, whatever your scenario or situation is. Like, I understand. I do. But because of her, we're going to be like, you know what? Bump who we brought into this world. It's not fair. It's not fair. And I do believe co-parenting is a thing. And I hate to, like, minimize it to a thing. Like, I just can't. It's real. That's what it is. I do understand co-parenting is real and is needed. What's best for them. However, it need to be arranged. It need to be arranged because, again, they don't deserve for us to check out. Because now this is an opportunity we can get a break, or because we don't want to talk to the kid's mom because of whatever relationship y'all have, however it done turned out. Again, I understand, but it's not legitimate because they still need us, regardless. And because that's a lot of dad's reality, unfortunately, it's a struggle. Even for you who are trying to get back in your kid's life, or who's like really trying to do everything that, like, and she's making it difficult for you. For whatever the reason is. If we need to get ourselves together, whatever it is, believe God is on our side. Whether that looks like the absence of our presence in that kid life, because ultimately it's about that kid or those kids. Now, again, I don't know what the situation is. It may be an unfair situation, but what we don't do is quit and give up. I don't know your situation, but because we brought that kid or those kids in this world, they are our responsibility. Regardless if they have a stepdad now or whatever, they still belong to us. Being coming from us. We might have to go through hell just to start to be back in communication with them. If we have to go through hell to start creating that relationship with them, then let hell be what that is. Let hell be what that is. And I believe if we are right for them, and in God's eyes, it's time for us to be a part of their lives. He will arrange that. He will arrange that. Point fingers at all. I'm only here to encourage us to don't stop, to encourage us not to stop trying, not to give up, not to check out. Because they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that. And such it is a great honor to have someone who came from us to be able to, because sometimes our children can be our best friend. Now, stop. Don't start like, that's the problem. All these parents want to be they kids' friends. Now, so when I say our best friends, and I'm trying to be my kids, I'm not saying that we should try to be our friends. I'm not promoting. What I am saying is sometimes, a lot of times, they are our peace. Not replacing or trying to replace God's peace or put them on this pedestal to where they can become our idol that we can come drop down our troubles on and look to them to be our everything. I'm not saying that. I'm not suggesting that. What I am saying is with speaking for myself, man, just having the honor to be in my little dude life, like that right there, like he's my everything. You feel me? Being able to wrestle with him, being able to just hug and embrace him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in sports. Like, it started with basketball first. And then I would go to the park and, teaching him how to catch, run routes when he was younger. He's only 9 now, but when he was younger. And then my wife talked him into giving soccer a shot. Then being on a soccer team, practicing with him, showing him little moves to where he got his signature move where it's like he just, like that was his go-to. And then like basketball, playing on a team, and then now football. Like, that is a honor, but just like having that building that bond and just having that relationship with them, it's just phenomenal. And the game, and like watching movies, just different things, right? I was the first one to introduce him to the movies when I think it was the last Spider-Man that came out. Like that right there, you feel what I'm saying? And like sometimes they are our best friend. I ain't trying to be my man friend, but I need for us to have that like an unbreakable bond. So I guess that's what I'm looking for. That's the word that I should use. Developing that unbreakable bond. And now that he's 9, and sometimes like my man, he be on some lazy stuff, or like if he for like it's certain things like with the football thing, that I show him and stuff like that, just fundamental stuff, and he have his moments where he receive it well. But he also had the moments where he don't want to be, he don't want to, I'm trying to find a word for it. Like if he drop an easy pass, sure, I give him grace, but it's to a point where I know that he beat himself up for it. I don't really say much to him about it, because I know he's doing it to himself already. Ooh, what a bad accident. He's taking it hard already. But now if he continue to do this and so on and so on, then I'm like, bro, what we doing here? So when he get to a point where he don't want to listen, or he catching attitudes when I'm showing him, or like basically showing him right and everything, like a few weeks ago, like I threw the ball on the ground, not aggressively, not like just showing him to get my point across. Bruh, if it come down to you, like you in football and our relationship, I threw the ball down. I'm gonna choose you all day long. Because if this gonna create tension or create bad blood between us, I can care less about this football. I choose you all day long. Period. That's more valuable to me than, you know, him becoming this elite football player. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, and if that's gonna cause problems between you and I, bruh, I can care less about football. We can do this together. We can travel this journey together. I'm in it all the way through and through. But if this football thing is going to cause problems between me and you, I don't want no parts of it. I want you. I can care less about the football. Period. That's just me. So when I say like this unbreakable bond, like it's an honor to be able to share that with minds. And my encouragement is that us dads, we all get to that point where it's like, I'm willing to go through the fire to make sure that we have this. I'm willing to go through the fire. Like, I hope it never come to this point, but I'm willing to go through the fire to make sure that I'm in your life. And my encouragement is for us dads is to try to be the best that we can for them. To not check out, regardless if they mad at us. Regardless if we had to correct or discipline them for something that they did wrong and they not feeling us. Like, that happens on a regular, because my man, he don't be trying to hear it. And I, like, bring up a child in the way that they should go, so when they get older, they will not depart from it. That's scripture. I'm not gonna waver from that because like, you're gonna have a problem with what I say. You don't want to hear it right now. Where they do that at? Now I do it respectfully. I try to do it respectfully and not too aggressive, but stern enough for him to know that I mean business. It's a very thin line between that type of discipline and breaking their spirits. I know I done broken spirits before. So I steer clear. I try to steer clear of that, like, as much as I can. And nothing like to break them all the way down, nothing like that. But it's to where, like, I probably leaned in a little bit too much for him to handle in that moment. So then I have to go back and make it right with them. Whether it's apologizing and, hugging them, holding them, and like that type of love, genuine love. You know what I'm saying? And let him know whatever it is I need to let him know in that moment, based on, according to what I need to speak to him about as far as me being wrong. and me making sure that I do better next time. You feel what I'm saying? Because just because we parents doesn't mean that like we are always right. And it's also, you know, what my wife have told me on a number of occasions, like, just give him space right now. I hear that sometimes that's needed, but not all the time he have that choice. Not trying to be intrusive about it or coming with this demand like, no, you're gonna hurt me, which I've done that in the past. But even in moments where no, this isn't one of those times where he needs space. This needs to be addressed. And it's not necessarily about addressing it, it's how I'm addressing it. So adjusting to where, like, I'm coming in gentle. I'm coming in, and do I always get it right the first time? Sometimes I gotta back off because I don't have the right energy about myself. So it's the figuring it out along the way, but in the mirror and knowing when I'm wrong about these things, and knowing that I have to adjust about, regardless if I'm the dad or not. Who cares about that? You feel me? Like, that means nothing if I'm breaking him down. That means nothing if I'm discouraging him. That means nothing if I'm not lifting him up. That means nothing if I'm not doing it for his good, opposed to my ego. These are all the things that I had to learn, and I still have to be careful to be mindful of. So as this is titled, what are your struggles? Like, it's trial and error, but we have to be willing to learn as we are also trying to teach. Not just our approach and how to love and correct and discipline, but also learn them. Because we don't learn them, we're gonna always come from our angle and our perspective, how we feel, what we like, and that's dangerous, because then we begin to push them away. Because I know I've done that in the past, push them away, even like, it's never physical abuse or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's speaking to him according to what he can understand, his language, and you know, so yeah. You feel me? So there's no perfect dad. There's no perfect mom. It's all about being who they need in that moment. So we have to make sure that we stay dialed into that. Because if not, we're never gonna be who they need us to be in those moments, because I'm the dad. Like, no, who cares about that? I be like, sometimes I come off on that energy like, nah, hold on, bro. Like, but it's from a respect factor. I'm going there on this whole spiel, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just want to encourage us dads. I just want to encourage us dads to, like, keep trying. Keep trying. It's not about the mom. It's not about self. It's about them. So regardless of what hell we have to go through to make it right, to get it right, to get them back, whether we're in the same household now and they kind of like drifted, whatever it is, go through hell to get that back. If you are a dad that's not in their lives, you know, due to whatever situation or relationship you and their mom have, is going through hell to get that back. Because again, we don't have a right to check out. Regardless of the damage that have been done, regardless of the absence that is prevalent right now, or should I say that's happening right now, like, they still need us. Let's just make sure in the process of trying to get them back, whether, you know, the absence is there, or because we created this this relationship that's broken between them and us. Let's make sure that we're getting self together in the process of getting them back. Because if not, it's going to become broken again. It's going to continue to be the apologies. It's going to continue to be the same old things, no changes. If we're not aware of what we need to change, what adjustments we need to make, us mending that relationship is going to become broken again. So like God told me last week, work on getting it right the first time. Just what it is. So that means being careful. That means being considerate. That also means being intentional. So I guess that's all I have. So if it's any out of all three of you guys who are present, I don't know if it's any of you are, dads who kind of like struggling. Like, look, hear me. You can be, and you probably are a phenomenal dad. Again, there's no such thing as perfect dads. You probably are a phenomenal dad, but you still kind of struggling in some areas. That's okay, for one. And two, if it is something and you feel led to, kind of like speak to right now, please, by all means, the floor is yours. You know what I mean? The floor is yours. I'm actually finna get ready to get off here in a couple of ticks. I want to wait and see if you are one. If you are a struggling dad and trying to get it right, you keep dropping the ball. Like you killing it in this area, but you like need improvement in this area, or you feel like you're doing everything right, but you being kicked down in the process, like you being this bum dad, although you doing like what's good. Cause see, the thing is, like, I feel like a lot of the why this cycle continues is because we're battling it and we're trying to figure it out alone. But as God told me a couple years ago, what I just shared a little bit ago was, because your dad left when you were 6 months old, you didn't have that example of what a dad looks like. So you're learning to love your son every single day. So because we didn't have an example, like we're like, some of us just winging it. Some have figured it out. Some cracked the cheat code or whatever it is, or like learned from that and became the best for their, like, different scenarios. I don't care what space or category or group or whatever it is that place you in. We all need help in some area or another. And unless we're having these conversations, we continue to bump our heads and just continue to get it wrong due to trial and error. Because, again, we may not still have that example. We're just figuring it out as we go. But if we have these conversations, then perhaps one of us can speak to something or bring something forth that can provide us the breakthrough, not that we need, but what our child and our kids need. Because again, ultimately, it's about them. We just have to make sure we get it right. Not so we can pat ourselves on the back, because they need us. And it's so easy to check out after always getting it wrong. Trying everything, but still getting it right. But still getting it wrong. For some, like, what's the point? We can never get to that place. We can never get to that mindset to where we like, what's the point? Because the next thing is to just make the decision to give up. We can't do that. They can't afford that. Look at the world we live in today. Just like our dads wasn't there, and look how we turned out. We have a whole generation out there that we see every single day. For whatever the reason, the dad isn't there. Whether dead, rest in peace, whether locked up, or just not there. Just not present. Or even present, but not present. Not active. So us checking out look like the cycle continuing. But then too, we sit back and judge these young cats wilding out. But what we are in a process of continuing the cycle, because we like, you know what, bump this. I can't stand this mama. She trifling. Whatever the reason is, it's just an excuse. And the reason why I say it's an excuse, because we making it about us when it's about them. So how do we change that? We got to start having these conversations. And not only do we have to start having these conversations, we need to start coming together, even if it's just like this. We need to start encouraging one another. We need to start championing one another on. We need to start helping one another. Being there for one another. Talking and sharing with one another. Holding each other accountable. Not criticizing, but offering some constructive criticism when it's needed and how it's needed. And us also receiving that accountability as it should be given with love. It should also be received with love. And not just accountability, but most of all, self-accountability. And I believe that is laying the foundation to a start of creating a change that the youth so needed so long ago. But because we're still here, and so many of them are still here, that means the work, it needs to start. It needs to continue. And we need to finish that work. Within, as well as without, or outwardly with them. Let's start somewhere. Let's start here. Let's start today. Let's start now. One day at a time, one step at a time. Consistently and forever, until the good Lord crack the sky. All right, so for you watching this later, because it appears I'm the only one here still, I'm cool with that. But please share to not just get the message out, but reach and connect with that dad who's struggling greatly and who's thinking about giving up, who have given up, to give them hope again, because we all struggle in these areas at some point or another. So they'll know they don't have to be perfect. Just be present, be active, intentional. Check back in, because they need us. It's not about the mother. It's not about self. It's about them. And they deserve all that they can get from us. It's cool if you're a wonderful provider. You're about that life. Because we have to provide them with what they need. But we can't pick and choose of what they need, because they need us just being a provider. They need our presence. They need us. All right, so I love y'all. Really. Let this be a start for all of us to challenge ourselves to do better, to be present, to be active. And no matter how bad it gets, through the hell and the fire, to get them back, to never check out again, because they need us. Look at what we are experiencing today. A lot of the youth are hurt. They're misguided due to being neglected, not experiencing and having the love that they deserve. The patience, the grace, the direction, the accountability, the gentleness, and the genuine love. And that's last but not least. They need us there. Let's be there. I love y'all. Please share this out to reach, to connect, to save, and deliver. Much love.